Greetings and welcome back to Big Bacon's Collection. I'm Big Bacon. It's Wednesday here in the Bacon Bunker, which is Anything Goes Wednesday. Now, some of you might notice that I do have Korg standing in the view. And we've already reviewed this Korg. We're not going to review this Korg again. He's here solely for comparison's sake, because today on Whatever I Want Wednesday, we're doing another beefy boy. We're doing a Build-A-Figure. We're doing the Love and Thunder Korg. So, figure comes in 7 pieces when you count the weapon. Torso, 2 legs, 2 arms, a head, and the weapon. This wave of figures was one of the few that I actually managed to finish. I didn't have to buy any of the pieces online. I was able to pick up most of them myself. My wife managed to find a couple for me. So, that being said, let's get him put together. Now, there are a few issues here and there with the assembly process. Mostly with the way some of these overhangs apply. They do get in the way a little bit. But if you get things lined up just right, everything tends to pop together the way it should. And this piece here is trying to make me into a liar. Why are you doing this to me? Because I wasn't lined up with the hole. Story of my life. Sorry, did not mean to bump the camera. Now, I've seen quite a few reviews on this figure. I decided to hold off on any judgment until I had my own. And then I got my own. And realized that every one of those reviews was absolutely accurate. So here we have him. The Build-A-Figure Korg from Thor Love and Thunder. And right now you could probably figure out the big issue with this figure. That's right. The big issue with this figure is the sculpt. Most specifically, the legs. You see, with this figure here, we've got a nice narrow piece there in the middle. We've got these deep cuts. Actually, they're straight lines just there. So everything comes together nice and evenly, and you get a nice natural stance. This figure is wider here, bulkier up along here. The pegs do not stick out as far. So, the legs, I mean, you could hold them together. And doing that, yeah, it looks good. But the moment you let go, you're back to that stance. Well, let's look at the figure as a whole. So, the face sculpt on Korg. I mean, yeah, it's Korg. He's a rock guy. From a couple angles, you do get some reflectivity on some of the rock face. Most specifically up near the eyes. Now, the eyes themselves are painted in there quite nicely. I think a little bit of wash would have helped bring out some of the more of the details around the face. But hey, that's just me. When we compare it to the other Korg, it does appear to be the exact same sculpt. But with the darker color, things seem to stick out a little bit better. As for the torso, The torso is the same sculpt as well. All the way up to the neck. Those are the same. Arms. Same shoulder piece. New upper arm, because this is pinless. New elbow piece. New pinless forearm. Yep, that's pinless. Hands are the same on both sides. Once again, pinless over here. Can't really tell about the shoulder on this side because of the armor piece. But I want to say it's new because this one, it's like pinned in and there's no pin slot on this side. Now, the legs are all new. Why? Because they're all wrapped and they're in different clothing. Waist is decidedly different. Feet. Feet are also the same. So, and the weapon is the exact same. It's just painted differently. So enough of him. This Korg comes with the fur shoulder wrap. Up here in the front, you do have a little bit of wash to bring out some more of the detail, but that stops once you get up onto the shoulders. The leather strapping is detailed, but not painted. A couple small points up here on the front where the silver buckles and buttons are. Got an arm wrap over here. Now, the texture of these does give it that leathery look. The silvering of the studs really helps to sell that. Same on this side. We have this amazing belt with the gold ram's head. Paint-wise, I mean, it looks pretty good. Obviously, this section in here is not actually meant to be painted because the top and the bottom of the circle are not. But I'm not going to be too pissed about that. The leather detailing does go all the way around the back with the silver riveting. The pants have these odd patch texture pattern to it. Hips have a hang down sort of plate mail look. They match up with the knee pads. They look like leathery with like a bronze or brass cover on them. He's got the fur-lined shins and calves. Once again, you get a lot of wash on the front, then no wash on the back. But they do paint the straps all the way around, and on this one, I think somebody brought their second grader to class, gave them a brush and told them to go to town. I mean, that's ugly. So articulation-wise, like the original one, we've got a hinge with a ball joint at the top, so he does look up pretty well. Looks down really well. No real tilt. You do get side-to-side motion. Arms pivot out to about 90. There is no butterfly joint. Arm will rotate all the way around, but it does take a little bit of work. And that's because of the sculpt of the rock. Bicep cut for rotation. Got a double jointed pinless elbow. But even with a double jointed pinless elbow, if the sculpt will only let you go so far. So that's as far as that sculpt goes. Hands rotate. Horizontal hinge on the left hand. Vertical hinge on the right, but once again, you don't get a whole lot of use out of it because of how the forearm extends down past the peg hole. Mid-torso cut allows for rotation. Not much front, little bit of back. Tiniest bit of tilt. Thighs. Well, leg will kick out that far. Kick sideways that far. Back none. Thigh cut for rotation. Double jointed pinless knee. Will come back pretty good. I mean, he's not kicking his own ass or anything, but it feels like there's a boot cut, but I think it's just this overlay rotating there. Front facing pin for rocker. Foot hinges forward that far, back only that far. So, his weapon, as you can see, is painted differently. Mine does have a slight bend in it. A little bit of heating is going to be needed. So there we have it. The Love and Thunder Build-A-Figure Korg. So why don't we get both of these guys back up into position on the shelf. And there we have it. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, comment, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you all next time.